First, a word of caution. This is a spoiler-filled review of Maja Ma. Now, if that's going to impact your viewing of the film, please stop watching. There is no way for me to talk about the film without revealing what it's actually about, so do not abuse me in the comments. You've been warned. Somewhere inside Maja Ma is a tender, emotionally resonant story of a middle-aged married woman who slowly makes peace with the fact that she is a lesbian. It's a truth that she's buried for decades, hoping that if she perseveres at being a good wife and being a good mother, it will cease to exist. But ultimately, she cannot deny her desire. She comes to own it and flourish in who she is. The fact that Pallavi Patel is played by Madhuri Dixit makes Maja Ma even more striking. In a career spanning almost 4 decades, Madhuri has blazed a trail as a formidable actor, star and dancer. But barring the odd Ded Ishq Kiya or Gulab Gang, she's rarely punctured her dazzling, wholesome heroine image. Maja Ma also leans on that. When we first meet Pallavi, she's this domestic goddess who comes off as a little too glamorous for a middle-class Baroda housewife. Pallavi's cooking is the stuff of dreams. She's also an artist. She's also a dancer. The story unravels against Garba sequences. Rangila Mara Nach, composed by Siddharth Mahadevan and Somil Shingarpure, is a highlight. But Maja Ma also gives Madhuri the chance to go out on a creative limb. And she's lovely. Madhuri encapsulates Pallavi's dread, her confusion, her fear, and her strength. Watch her in a key scene when the word lesbian escapes from her mouth. The desperation in her eyes is heartbreaking. It's a terrific idea, being translated on screen by a terrific actor. But director Anand Tiwari, who co-wrote the film with Sumit Bhateja, doesn't seem to trust either enough. Like so many earlier Hindi films which deal with issues considered tricky such as sexual orientation, Maja Ma is also made overtly simplistic. The director and co-writer want to preach to the unconverted, so they dumb it down. Pallavi's daughter Tara is an activist who twice explains what LGBTQIA+ stands for: lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual plus, which is fine. But the screenplay also offsets the inherent sadness of Pallavi's situation with low IQ comedy. There's this whole thread about Pallavi's husband Manohar taking a Viagra-like pill so he can improve their relationship. At one point, he's so noticeably erect that another character has to walk in front of him with a sheet. This whole sugarcoating of humor and songs makes it difficult for the core issue to land with impact. And the biggest fault line is that some of the characters border on caricature and the plot becomes superbly silly. Rajat Kapoor and Sheba Chadda play Bob and Pam. They are this imperious, obnoxious, super rich NRI couple whose daughter Isha falls in love with Pallavi's son Tejas. Pam and Bob speak with this unintentionally hilarious American accent. When Bob comes to Baroda, he keeps looking around and exclaiming, "So authentic, so traditional, exotic. It's really strange."
Exotic. काम मिलते आजकल. Clean virgin boys.
Pam gets a single scene in which the character comes to life and Sheba nails it. She is such a fabulous actor, but even she has to go through several ridiculous scenes with a straight face. In one, her daughter Isha and Tejas are expressing affection for each other, so Pam says sternly, "Ishu, you know dad doesn't like PDA." The plot also hinges on lie detector tests and all this politics in a Baroda housing society. These twists are just too feeble to bear the weight of Pallavi's truth. But in the middle of these cartoonish elements, Anand also creates poignant sequences which remind you of what the stakes are. And the narrative gives each member of Pallavi's family an arc. Each one comes to understand how myopic and selfish they've been. The scenes between Manohar and Pallavi are nicely staged and written. Gajraj Rao gives Manohar a bumbling sincerity. We can understand why Pallavi lived a compromised life. Like Pallavi, Maja Ma also compromises. There are just too many cliches of what Gujarati families are like, with accents just coming and going. More importantly, the film doesn't go far enough. It doesn't delve enough into the messiness and the pain of Pallavi's situation. There's also a too convenient cancer twist which ensures that Pallavi's life doesn't get too complicated even after she acknowledges who she is. I wish the makers had been braver. But this is a film that champions inclusivity, acceptance, women's desires, and agency. The screenplay makes space to underline that it's up to each individual to decide when and how they will come out of the closet. Maja Ma also asks men, husbands, and sons to operate from a place of compassion and equality. It's a lot, and the screenplay doesn't manage to fit it all in organically. Too often, the messaging takes over the storytelling. Still, these are good things to see on screen.